Stay tuned after today's episode for the new single from Jonas Season Color, featuring Jonathan Owens, son of our very own Annette.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, October 26th, 2009, and this is episode 635 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Now, let me show you around our research center.
I'll leave that one to Newell. Newell?
Muppets?
Good.
Very good.
Thank you.
And also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike,
yes,
I'm just going to say right now, there are certain things that are always going to be funny. And It's a Grill and a Cooler is just always funny, no matter what.
It's a grill and a cooler?
And a cooler? It's always funny. Just like jokes about the planet Uranus. It's just always funny, no matter what.
Well, yeah, that's not that funny.
Always funny. Also joining us on today's show is Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations and group services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome to the show, Annette.
I can't wait to see where we go from here.
It's all downhill.
And,
oh my God.
And Len is once again busy. I think last I heard he was busy waxing Mike Tomlin's car. So instead, we've brought on Fred Hazelton, the master statistician for the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome back to the show, Fred.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about sharing some tips that we've recently discovered in the fairly recent past at Walt Disney World. These aren't earth-shattering tips. Don't think this is going to save you $1,000 or reveal a secret entrance to Soarin' with no wait. But these are just kind of things that we've kind of picked up over our last maybe trip or two recently, and we thought we would share them with you. So we'll start out here, and when we go on these trips, a lot of times, regardless if we're going down just for a weekend or you're going down there for a longer period of time, I think generally speaking, you find, something new that, it might be something small, something big, but, something that we learn from our trips. And certainly we like to share them with our listeners from time to time. So let's start with you, Scopa. I know that you, have some tips from some of your recent trips here. What's one that comes to mind?
It was really funny. This is sort of a 1-2 punch. One morning, I was going to the Magic Kingdom, and I happened to be torn between taking the ferry or taking the monorail, and the ferry wasn't there, so I decided to take the monorail. The monorail was crowded. We're going up the ramp. I'm thinking, it's going to take forever to get there. We get to the top of the ramp, and the cast member directed me towards the right, and I noticed this in the past, and I always try to pinpoint this. But what I have found that if you go to the Magic Kingdom and you go to the express monorail, you should try to get into the rear door of the next to last car or the first door of the last car, and I'll tell you why. When you pull into the Magic Kingdom train station, those two doors are very close to the ramp, at the top of the ramp. So immediately you're like one of the first people down that ramp. And you don't have to worry for the crowd to slowly, inch in and there's a huge crowd and has to narrow itself to go down the ramp. So the rear door of the next to the last car or the front door of the last car is the place you want to be. So I'm observing that, and I get down to the bottom of the ramp, and I'm getting into the area where the security check is being taken place. And I just stood there and I watched for about 10 minutes. And I noticed that the security check on the left had the longest lines from the middle towards the turnstiles. If you went to the far left of the left-hand security check, you're going to go right through, because a lot of people don't realize there are two lines.
Yeah.
And they just go to one line. And if you go to the right side check area and you go to the far right, the same thing. So I do that every single time I go to the Magic Kingdom. When I ride the monorail, I look for that last car or the next to last car, and I'm right there, and I'm usually right at that ramp. And when I go through security, it's like 1, 2, 3, because I know exactly where to go. It's not a big tip. It's not a huge tip, but it can save you, as much as 10 minutes.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think there's some interesting things. I knew about the monorail one, and certainly the line. Always, I guess a tip to really add on to your line one at the security gate is when you get to the security gate, always look at the security gate situation over there and look for openings. A lot of people really just clamor, to where other people are already because they just assume, well, that's where the line is. And, oftentimes there's going to be maybe just one small line, usually, like you said, Mike, at the end where you can really sneak in there and bypass a longer line.
Exactly.
One that I know that I learned, we had our, Newell, do you remember we did that little mini live show from Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary?
Sure.
And, one thing I learned was that actually if you're staying at Bay Lake Tower, now a lot of our listeners are looking forward to maybe their first day at Bay Lake Tower since it opened up. You can actually watch, not only can you watch, obviously, Wishes from your, room over there, that goes without saying, but they actually have a special channel over there that you can tune into, and it will play the music. It pipes in the music over there. So you don't have to call Newell and ask him to play Wishes on Mouse Wolf Radio for you right at that time, which I may have done at one point. You don't have to have that special treatment. You can, it pipes in right there directly into your room, which is a very nice thing to do. So you can actually hear it and see it also. But that leads me actually to something I want Annette to talk about. And that, I was talking about Bay Lake Tower, and I don't think a lot of our listeners are aware that as DVC members, they have a very special perk that they can enjoy. It's only really for them at Bay Lake Tower, up at the very top. You want to talk about that?
Very top, yes. That's when you go there and you're staying on your points in the towers. You can go up, and there's a lounge at the top of the world, and they pipe in the music. Excellent sound system up there, and you can watch Wishes from the top of the world there, top of the tower there, and afterwards enjoy with your friends up there in the lounge. It's very nice atmosphere. You can see all of Orlando. You can look on the other side and see downtown Orlando and maybe some other parks nearby. I have no idea. But it's a great view, and even if you go up there, even at 5:00 in the day, you can go up. It opens up, and you can go up there and have drinks and look out and look over at the Magic Kingdom.
I didn't realize you could get up there that early, but that's a great tip, because then you can just maybe if you want to spend an evening relaxing before Wishes, take it a little easy. It's a great place to be because there's a lot of space up there. I was really surprised by that.
Very comfortable.
Yes.
Very relaxed.
Fred, what about you?
Yeah, well, there's one thing that I discovered on my last trip, and it has to do with the choice of the week that I went. I went during the first week of September, which is a time that I've never actually been to Disney World before. And, of course, I'm supposed to be the crowd calendar guy, so I knew the crowds would be light. But I was really shocked at how actually dead the parks really were. I mean, there's, a little bit of crowd in the middle of the afternoon, but we went basically as we wanted, morning, noon, and night, and I couldn't believe how open and wide, how open the parks feel when the crowds are that low. And the other thing I noticed too is that you still get a lot of the summer weather, so it feels like it's still middle of the summer. It's nice and warm, especially at the water park. We went to the water parks that week, and man, what a great time of year to go to the water parks, because the sun's hot all day and the crowds are basically dead. There's nobody there. Absolutely.
Especially when you're at the water park, Fred. I mean, if you really want to experience the entire water park without much line, you have to go in the morning, right when the water park opens.
Oh yeah, and like you can go in sort of the shoulder seasons and do that, but it's a little bit cool. Like it's you can go in sort of this time of year, or November or December, and you can find smaller lines, but the temperature might not be that great for being out in your bathing suit all day.
Yeah, I mean the thing is with that also, I mean while we're talking about that is that I did that in like it was a February or a March. It was just a warmer day, and it's the good news is all the water slides and all the water is all heated. So when you're in the water, you're fine. No problem at all. It's just the run between slides that can...
Exactly.
But
standing in line, maybe?
Well, there were no lines. That was the thing. I mean, you're just running from line to line. And the good news is, you say, well, you get cold, but after like one or two slides, because you're running around all the time, it really builds... I mean, your exercise, you're building up your body heat over there. So you do actually become pretty warm, even though it might be a little cool out. Even though you're running between the slides, it's not that bad, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think the other thing I noticed about that particular time of year is is the lack of younger families. Like, I remember being in Fantasyland during the middle of the day, and there was just, not the swarm of strollers that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
So I think for people that are maybe adults or people without kids that want to pick a good time of year to go, I mean, it's first week of school for a lot of the Eastern Seaboard, so you're going to get, families are going to be back home getting ready for school, and I think it's a good time of year to go.
Absolutely. When all this water park stuff, it's gotten me thinking now. The last time I went, also, if you're the kind of person who goes to the water parks and you're the kind of person who likes to go from slide to slide to slide, like you're not like, spending an hour in the lazy river, an hour in the wave pool, you know what I mean? Like you're going from like, Crush and Gusher to this slide to this slide to this slide. If you're really one of those kind of people, I really feel that you need like some sort of like water shoes or something. Because that pavement over there really, I always find whenever I'm done for the day and I leave, it just rips the bottom of my feet up. Because it's all that hard pavement. And it's not as smooth as you might expect.
Yeah.
And, I know that if I'm going to the water parks from now on, I need to grab myself a pair of water shoes or something just so that I can enjoy it and not be like, ow, my feet hurt, ow, my feet hurt, ow, my feet hurt.
Hey, Matt, did you ever try the water fountains at the water park? The water?
No, I haven't. Why?
I don't know if it was just me or if this is maybe some of the other listeners can write in if they've experienced this as well. But I went to one of the water fountains, like in one of the lines as you're walking up, and it was powered about 5 times of the normal water fountain.
What?
So you lean in to take a drink, and it completely squirts your entire face. Yeah.
It's like when you go lean in, that sound that it comes from Typhoon Lagoon when the waves are about to comes out of the thing. Wow. I didn't know. I have to go check it out.
Try it, yeah.
Yeah, Newell, we're going to go to the water park when you come down here. We're just going to go test out the water fountains.
Yeah, go take a look in the water fountains. Yeah.
Oh, we'll add that to the December reunion thing.
Yeah. The water fountain meet. Hosted by Fred Hazelton.
Yes.
Well, actually, let me go back to Scopa. I know you had another one, Mike.
Matt, you, Mike, Len, and I had dinner at the Yachtsman Steakhouse with I can't remember who told us something about the restaurants, and I kept that in the back of my mind. And on a recent trip, I tested it out. I called one morning. I was going to go to the Magic Kingdom, and I called around 7:30, and I tried to get an ADR for lunch at the Plaza restaurant, and they said, nope, we're all filled up. Okay, fine, thank you. So I went over to the Magic Kingdom, went right over to the Plaza, and I asked for an ADR between 11:30 and 12:30 for lunch, and I got one. So what I would like to suggest, and I've also found this on a trip I went to in July, and that is that I believe that it's quite possible that, as we were told last December, that some of the restaurants will keep a table open every hour for walk-ups. So I think that it can't hurt to go up to the podium every time you're in a park and you're near a restaurant that you'd like to try. I believe that those tables are not being given out to people who call in to the reservation system. I think they're being held for walk-up. So that seems to be working for me a lot. It worked for me a lot this year. So I just wanted to pass that along to everybody.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, it might not be the place you were exactly hoping for, but you can. I know that I've been before right close to Illuminations and hoping for, a spot over in the UK to go and eat, and I was able to walk up 8:45 right out on the patio. So
yeah,
it does work sometimes for you.
Yeah, we did that. We did it in Newell, remember? At Tokyo Dining.
Yep. It worked out perfect.
Yeah, when you got to see Illuminations there.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to share also is that at the studios, if you're interested in meeting characters, there's actually a great unannounced character meeting they do every day. It's usually about 4:30, 5 o'clock at the Magic at Disney Animation at the end over there where Sorcerer Mickey is. And what they'll do is they'll dump a bunch of, frankly, random characters. I mean, I've seen Max, Goofy's son, Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. But regardless of whatever they have there, they throw out a bunch of characters out there for meet and greets every evening, and that's because not to get too inside over here, but basically it's just the people, even though Fantasmic's been reduced, they still have to pay the actors, the performers to be there. So they actually do this. It's kind of a nice thing. It's unannounced, not on the schedule or anything, but it's cool if you're really interested in meeting characters. It can be a great opportunity for you to meet some late in the day over there, and that's at the Magic at Disney Animation. about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Usually wraps up about 6 or so.
I have a good one that I just thought of.
If it's about water fountains, I think we're good.
No, I've exhausted all the water fountain tips I can think of.
Oh, okay.
But I do have one, a good one that I discovered back in the spring that I'm not sure many people know about. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you often hear people who have like an extra day on their park hopper that they just don't know what to do with, or they've got 7 days, they've only used 6, and they know it never expires. You can, if you ever wanted to go to Disneyland, if you take your unused Walt Disney World park hoppers, you can go to guest relations at Disneyland and exchange it for a 1-day pass at Disneyland Park.
I read that also. That was pretty interesting. I didn't know that you could do that before.
It's true. Yeah, you can go. You can't use the hopper right at the gate. You have to go to guest relations, and they'll give you a day pass for Disneyland, for either park at Disneyland.
But you can't do the reverse.
No, you can't do the reverse.
No, you can't go the opposite direction.
Right.
It's just a one-way ticket. But I know some people, that may have considered, maybe someday going to Disneyland, and if they have those 1-day park hoppers sitting around, they could still use those when they go.
That'd be a great tip for Florida residents. I mean, they have some great deals for us Florida residents. I'm wondering if you could buy a Florida, one of those 4-day ticket things that they have over here. They offer here for Florida residents, and save on basically if you're going to Disneyland, save on tickets over there.
Yeah, I think the only stipulation is that it has to be a hopper ticket. It has to be a ticket that has hopper on it.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's a good tip.
Yeah.
My last tip that I have is just relates to the Citizens of Hollywood, the street mystery characters over there. And one of the things I've found from my research, if you will, over there is that if you're looking to see them, the easiest way to find them is they're on the opposite schedule of the High School Musical schedule. Meaning, if High School Musical is on at let's say they have a showing at 10 a.m., the Citizens of Hollywood will come out at 10:30, and they're kind of like opposite. So then at 11 o'clock, High School Musical runs again, and then the street mystery characters come out for a 30-minute set again at 11:30, and the parade kind of screws everything up. But they're on opposite ends of the hour, if that makes any sense. And that's something that I found out, and it might be useful if you're looking to find something to do there and looking at the time to check out. Any last tips here? Or forever hold your peace.
I have one more, Matt, and that's for those people who are late in getting to a spot to watch Illuminations. I'm always looking for things like this, and I found one on my last trip. And the spot that I'm thinking about is you're coming over the bridge from France to United Kingdom, and there is an area down where guests will watch Illuminations. One area that just seems never to be filled, and it gives you a chance to really watch Illuminations without being, crunched in with people, is down near where the Illuminations cruise boats dock. If you go down the steps all the way over to the left, a lot of people don't go over there because they don't want to. They want to see the entire lagoon. They want to see all the pavilions. They want to see everything, right in front of them. They don't want to have to look on an angle. But if you go down there, and you can see one of our buddies, Mike Scabetta, out there doing a Illuminations cruise, you'll find plenty of room down there, and you get to see Illuminations, especially if you've seen it many times, and you just want to be able to. You can see the globe really well. You cannot see all the pavilions, but you can certainly see the globe, and I think that's a great spot to go if you're late in getting to your favorite spot for Illuminations.
Absolutely. So I guess that's going to do it for us today. I just want to mention that, Newell, you'll back me up there. I have one last tip. And of course, this is not one that we've learned recently. We've just known all along, but I will pass it along in case we have new listeners.
Okay.
And that, of course, Newell, is that everything tastes better when Len pays for it.
That is true. But that's very hard to find. You have to find Len, number one.
Yeah. But otherwise, then it's payday.
Then it's just brilliant.
Yeah. It's amazing how that works out, right, Fred?
Yep. Words to live by.
Very good. Well, that's going to do it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at WDWtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, Annette Owens, and Fred Hazelton, I'm Matt Hotchberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.
And now the latest single from the brand new CD from the group Jonas Season Color, featuring Jonathan Owens on guitar, son of our very own Annette.
So what's the point of getting so excited? This will all be over so soon. absent looks you have so much pride in. Be the first to go. I'm gonna hate to see you with a face like a slate wiped clean, but make no mistake, this is no fresh start. I know this is hard. This is the way it's always been. This is the way it always has to be. But what's the point of getting so excited? I know you're waiting. What are you waiting on? I won't keep secrets. I'll write them all in songs, so you keep waiting. As restless as an avalanche, skin drifts from cheekbones, dry lips, smile and crack. Miracles are made in wide rooms, so a mended spine can lift a broken back. But what's the point of getting so excited? I know you're waiting. What are you waiting on? I won't keep secrets. I'll write them all in songs, so you keep waiting. As restless as an avalanche, and everyone writes songs about California. For the summer, we're staying young. I'm singing about Carolina. 'Cause I write songs for you. I know you're waiting. But what are you waiting on? I won't keep secrets. I'll write them all in songs, so you keep waiting. As restless as an avalanche, so we keep waiting. So we keep waiting. As restless as an avalanche. As restless as an avalanche.
And that track is called Avalanche from the new CD by Jonas Season Color. Available at iTunes, Amazon.com, Best Buy, and all major record stores.